Planning and Development Authority of Grenada, PDA, is enforcing regulations to curb illegal, disorderly, and unauthorized development in several locations throughout the state of Grenada. The authority is concerned that structures mainly associated with vending are negatively impacting the environment, has undesirable public health and sanitation consequences, present obstructions to vehicle and pedestrian traffic, can become projectiles during adverse weather conditions, and generally affect the aesthetics of the nation. The PDA will work along with stakeholder ministries and institutions to effect the demolition, removal, and disposal of structures which fall in the category of illegal and disorderly development, commencing January 2024. In this regard, persons who vend in or occupy such illegal structures are advised to secure their personal belongings and have the structures removed ahead of the planned PDA demolition operations. These actions of the PDA have become necessary to safeguard and protect public health and the environment, ensure the safety and well-being of all citizens and visitors, discourage any future disorderly construction, and encourage compliance to regulations pertaining to physical development in the state of Grenada. This is a message from the Planning and Development Authority of Grenada.
Yeah. Ride Along Live, welcome to the live, welcome to Monday on the Ride. Wow. Time fly, guys. I'm just checking to make sure that you guys have seen me and hear me clearly. If you've seen me and hear me clearly, give me a quick thumbs up. I want to make sure everything is good. Hey, Noel, Charles, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Give me a quick thumbs up if you've seen me and hear me clearly, guys. Before we go on, I want to make sure that I'm seeing a display of the program here, and I don't know if it's just my computer. Everything looks good? Everything looks good, riders? Everything looks good? Camera not clear, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, video kind of fuzzy, right? All right. Let me sort that out. Hopefully it clears up though. All right. Bear with me, guys. Hopefully the camera quality clear up. Blurry? Look kind of blurry. All right, let me take a quick break and see if I could fix that up. Stand by.
You ready for an exhilarating adventure? Then look no further than Ride Excursions and Tours. Get ready to explore the great outdoors like never before with our powerful e-bikes. Discover breathtaking sightseeing tours around the island. Feel the wind in your hair and experience nature in its purest form. Now, whether you're a seasoned rider or a beginner, our e-bikes are perfect for everyone. Call us at 473-422-1011 to book your excursion or visit ridersebikes.com. That's ridersebike.com to reserve your spot. Unleash your adventurous spirit with Ride Excursions and Tours, where every journey becomes an unforgettable adventure.
All right, I'm back. Let me know if you guys see me better now. Let me know if you guys see me better. All right, guys, see me better? Let me know if you see me better. I want to make sure everything is crystal clear. All right? Let me know. Thumbs up if you've seen me better, if you've seen everything clearer than you were seeing it earlier. No audio? Check. Much better, perfect now? All right, thank you so much. Let's start again. Welcome to Ride Along Live for today. All right, thank you. It's perfect. Much clearer. Nice, everything good. Okay, guys. Welcome, and welcome, guys. This is Ride Along Live for today, is the 26th day of February. It's almost the end of the month, and a lot is happening, guys. A whole lot is happening. So help me unpack the show today. We have journalist and the host of the narrative, Calistra Farrier. She's going to be joining us shortly. And we're happy to have Calistra. She's going to be chatting with us. But guys, a lot have been happening over this past couple weeks and days and weeks, of course. Besides the fact that we've been having so much fun on the ride, big up to everyone in St. George who joined us on the Riders Excursion. We did an amazing ride through St. George up to Hog Island. Big up to Fantastic and all the crew, Walker and everyone who made it all possible, from the food. Everybody, man. Don't forget, next week we're going to be in Carriacou. So if you have not yet booked yet, we wanted to jump on it right now and get your bike arranged and set up for next week, okay? We're going to be in Carriacou. Big up on that, guys. So as I was telling you, there's so much happening. There's so much happening, and today we're going to get you guys' reaction on a few things that have been happening in Grenada, to be exact. Now, today we had a press conference to deal with some of the incidents of crime that occurred on the beautiful island of Grenada. Now, on the 18th of February, if you guys remember, the RGPF put out a bulletin, a press release of escaped prisoner Ron Mitchell, Trevon Robinson, and Atiba Sanisclaus. The RGPF said that the police is seeking assistance from the general public in locating the following escaped prisoners. Now, let me show you a quick picture of those guys, in case you haven't seen it as yet, so we could put it all into perspective. Now, this is a picture of the three escaped prisoners. Ron Mitchell is a 30-year-old unemployed from Paradise, St. Andrew. He's medium built, dark in complexion, with dark brown eye and black hair. Trevon Robinson, 25-year-old farmer from Paradise, and Atiba Sanisclaus, 23-year-old unemployed from Paradise, all from Paradise. The three men was in police custody and charged with rape, robbery, and violence and other serious offenses. And they, for some reason, guys, they recently escaped from the South St. George police station. That was alarming. So today, guys, even before today, family members of Ron Mitchell reached out to us to express their regrets, I should say, or their concerns on the activities where they claim that Ron is alleged to have done. Now, following the release or the escape of these prisoners, it was reported that a yacht that was somewhere in the vicinity of Grand Anse Beach was somehow hijacked. There were two passengers on board and they were taken hostage. Now, days later, the three men were found in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, family members reached out to us and voiced their concern. This was some of the family members' concern.
Live.
Well, the Royal Grenada Police Force come from my brother Tuesday morning after 5. How come he left the cell unattended? We want to know about that, because we can't leave a cell with 3 persons in it and go. The family disturbing. We want to know how he get away from the cell. That is the answer for the police of Grenada. And you see how this policeman from St. Vincent beat him? We're not going on like that. He's not a pig. He's a human being also. Like somebody else's child. That's my brother. He's not what I think he is. And if I don't know Ron Mitchell, he's very nice in any way he could help his family. I'm a sickly, with thyroid in my neck, he helped me. So, the way that was rape and casting spell on him like that, he's not what I think he is. And he's very disturbing me. I can't sleep. Because I see a police shoot me brother day. I feel like I could just end or do something stupid.
All right, so that was the family member reacting to the incident after the three men were captured in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, the video showed the gruesome capture of these three individuals, which we were not going to play back on right now. Now, earlier today, there was a press conference by the RGPF, the Commissioner of Police, and Mr. Vanny Corwin on what transpired up to this point. This is what was said.
Listening and viewing audience, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this important press conference hosted by the Royal Grenada Police Force. Thank you all for joining us wherever you are. We want to provide you with information and overview of what we know so far about recent police-related activities and what appear to be heightened interest of the public in these activities. As ASP Douglas indicated, I would speak on the issue of the three escaped prisoners from the South St. George Police Station, and to their subsequent capture in St. Vincent. Please be minded that I'm quite limited as to what I can say, especially regarding the issues of the escapees. And the reasons are twofold. One, these incidents are subject to an active investigation. And secondly, that information that I possess is limited and can be considered secondhand, as I have had very limited discussions regarding the details of the investigations.
All right, so a lot to digest, a lot to unpack. So joining us right now to help us understand and put this thing into perspective is journalist, veteran journalist, if I might say so myself, my colleague and friend, and the host of The Narrative, Calistra Farrier. Calistra, how are you? Hold on, Calistra. I think you're muted. Yeah, you're muted. Unmute.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Well, good night, Junior, Kweku, George. It's good to be on the ride. I haven't been on the ride in a while. You know, would have preferred better circumstances. You know, the flag is flying out there, but not in pretty colors as it usually is. You know, as Grenadians, as a Grenadian first, you feel uncomfortable with the kind of news that's out there. But of course, as a journalist, you face the facts and the truth and report it as it is. It's been quite a few days since this incident occurred. A lot of questions, a lot of it unanswered so far as well.
Yeah. Calistra, help us understand this. How did we get here? Because there's a lot that happened during this particular time frame. Talking about this, let's dive into this first incident involving the three escapees. How did we get here? What happened? Who dropped the ball here? From your understanding, from a journalist on the ground.
I mean, if we have to look at how we got here, you know, it's a whole sociological, psychological discussion about our society, what's happening with our society, what's happening in the world. But the incident in question, I think we got here because people did not take their very serious job seriously, because people dropped the ball. And Commissioner Don McKenzie, he hinted at that without saying as much today in response to a question I asked him. He hinted at that. And, you know, he said, oh, the cells are safe. Well, that remains a big question, of course. But because I have not seen it, I have not gone there. And if I go, I doubt I will get access. But also, he said that if procedures were followed, then it ought not to have happened, which seems to be suggesting that the investigation that they're looking at someone not doing their job properly, which is what allowed it to happen, which allowed 3 men to just walk out of a police station and ending with a cross-jurisdictional murder case, potential murder case.
Yeah, but let's go back a little bit,
And
Calistra,
so
because before we no, go ahead, finish your thought. Finish your thought, Calistra. No, go ahead. We have a little delay. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying the commissioner has found himself in a difficult position there where in another jurisdiction, some resignations would have been handed in by now. The situation is so serious. The end result of it, this is not just a couple of guys breaking out of jail and being caught by a rum shop somewhere or in some village in St. David. These are guys found in another state with 2 missing people and 2 missing Americans at that. So on his watch, on the commissioner's watch, and the buck really stops with him, and then of course the national security minister after that, but ultimately the buck stops with him in terms of the performance of the police officers. So he is not, I imagine he's not having a good few days right now.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go back a little bit for where this thing started. Now, first of all, this young man was charged in the rape and serious crime within the community. Now, that's not the first, as far as what I heard from folks in that same community. That was not the first time they were arrested for these types of crime. So how did they end up being on bail to be out to commit this crime to having to escape from prison? Do we know the track records of this young man and what crime there was and why they wasn't locked up doing hard times before this, having to be released?
Well, from what I understand, I could not find evidence of previous convictions. I'm still trying to find. What I have been able to find is evidence of other similar charges, that they were out on bail. And, they were out on bail because a lawyer was able to argue better than the police prosecutor in the court. It comes down to that. The offenses that they are charged for at bail is in the discretion of the magistrate, of course, but the offenses that they are charged with are not without the option of bail. They can be granted bail for robbery with violence and rape and those things. It is only on the issue of murder and treason, I believe, where question of bail becomes a tougher question. But on those charges, they were entitled to bail, and it's what our system says, it's what our system calls for. But at the magistrate level, the fact that a prosecutor did not strenuously object to bail on such serious violent crimes that they were charged with, and that they were allowed to walk free and commit those crimes again, similar crimes again, raises questions about the whole system and the issue of granting bail and whether or not, in this instance, a magistrate the magistrate may not have foreseen, but you look at the facts before you, and the magistrate with the facts before them may have felt they were not high risk. But it just comes down to who has the better argument when an application for bail is made between the prosecution and the defense lawyers. And I'm not sure, but I hope that in the instance where bail was granted, that the prosecution did strenuously argue against it, even if they may have lost the asking that bail be denied, that they strenuously objected. I hope it's not a case where we have no objections, Your Honor, which happens from time to time, sometimes depending on the circumstances. But I don't see circumstances where the prosecution would not have seriously, strenuously objected to people on rape and robbery being granted bail.
Isn't that a part of the problem from your professional experience, having someone out on bail for sexual offenses, rape for that matter? Isn't that part of the problem? Because of course the police would have done their job in terms of arresting and bringing that person to justice. And then it sits in the hands of the lawyers and the prosecutors to basically argue from that point of view. Isn't it a problem, you think, with the system itself, granting bail on serious charges like these? Or should it be escalated to a more serious charge than what it is? So then you don't have bail for situations like these.
Well, you see, the thing about it is that when we say, okay, fine, it's serious crimes, no bail, someone may not do what those guys did. And I think what we need to is a bit of revamping of the system. There was no way of monitoring those guys after they went out on bail. So they were off on a crime spree again. They were caught by the police. That's how they ended up in South St. George Police Station. There was no system of monitoring them, no police surveillance. I hope not, because if there was surveillance and they actually were committing crimes, then that would be a real problem for us and for Commissioner McKenzie. But no ankle monitor, no confinement to their homes or anything. You see, if someone is on bail for murder, for instance, you take their travel documents that you ask them to report. I suspect, although I'm not sure, that they may not have also been ordered by the court to report at a particular time to a police station. That's also part of conditions that magistrates set when granting bail in circumstances of serious crime, where sometimes you feel like it ought not to be granted, but the way the thing comes down and plays out in the court, bail is to ensure that the suspect, the accused, does not become either a flight risk or a danger to society. But in this case, but certainly our system has no, those ankle bracelets that you see on. I'm fond of those crime dramas on television, and you wear the ankle bracelets. And on here, so. Not every suspect is the same, okay? There are people who might be accused but innocent. The court will sort that out. But in the meantime, what do? They languish at Richmond Hill on remand in some of the worst circumstances in a prison as it exists now. So there are a lot that is weighed in the courtroom when bail is being considered. But certainly with the track record of those guys, I'm actually surprised that they were granted bail, since they seem to have had not just one but a few previous charges.
Yeah, because I spoke to someone very close to the incident, in the rape incident in particular, and I was told that the violent nature of that rape, it wasn't just, well, in whatever instant a rape is terrible, but this young lady was violently raped. She was gang raped. She was knocked in the head with a hammer, and she was almost left to die, right? So it was clear instant of violence. So the problem I am seeing here, the first problem is having someone on out on bail on this type of violent crimes. I think that is the first problem that needs to be fixed. The broken system is that they're letting these violent crimes, people that associate with these violent crimes, walk free. This was brutal.
And lawyers go to the court and they argue that there was, they've not been convicted of anything before, and someone maybe vouches for you, or you have one of the other things that you have happening in the court is police officers, yes, they receive some training, but prosecutors at that level where it's still in the magistrate court, unless the DPP comes down and sits on a case, what you have are police officers who are standing on the other side of the table to lawyers who are trained and have gone to law school and have passed the bar. And it is their job to argue and to get the best to represent their clients and to the best of their ability. And on the other side, you have a law enforcement officer who happens to be assigned to the prosecution department. So those are also things that need to change. I know there are lawyers criticize that part of the system where the prosecutors in the magistrate court, where those serious crimes first appear, because even if it goes up, it's out there before the magistrate, and you have unequal players on both sides, the prosecution and the defense, dealing with the matter. And sometimes that can also influence how things play out. Just, you know, who makes the better case to the magistrates.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, we're looking at this case right here. The first one in question, the three young men that were reportedly is accused of violent crime, escaped from the South St. George police station, and is alleged to have been involved in this murder. It's a multi-border murder, alleged murder case right now that is on all media. It's on CNN, global media picked it up, and it's really shining a very negative light on Grenada. Now, earlier today, because that's not all, there were other mentions. Vanny Cohen spoke about it in the press conference. Let's check it out and comment on it on the other side. Check that.
Friends, and we are happy to bring you information as we have them. Commissioner has alluded to what has happened with regards to the escaped prisoners and the investigation in St. Vincent. I will delve a little bit further into say that in another escape incident, we have over the past few days extended significant resources and man hours, mounting intense operations to recapture another fugitive who was escaped while attending the magistrate court on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. A live-on date who was charged for the death of Canadian citizen Wayne Smart in 2023 has been out on the run since, and we appeal to members of the public for their assistance in recapturing Mr. Date, who is considered armed and dangerous. In other crime-related incidents, on the morning of Friday, February 23rd, 2024, police responded to a gunshot around the Market Square area in St. George. Police officers in the vicinity mounted a chase of the individual responsible. However, he was not apprehended. Later that morning, in what appears to be a reprisal for the Market Square incident, two men from the St. George's Town, namely Melik Chidik and Camry Gittins, went to Grandance brandishing what appears to be a firearm and assaulted several persons, including a police officer, in the process. They then traveled to the Maurice Bishop Highway, where they assaulted and robbed a young man from the Grandance area at gunpoint and videoed the incident. Subsequently, a sting operation set up by the police later captured them, and a .22 revolver and 6 rounds of ammunition were found in the possession of Mr. Chidik. Having been captured by police, some of the persons who were at the Grandance Beach during the brandishing of the firearm attempted to exert vigilante justice on them and had to be restrained by police, as can be seen in a video that has been making the round Friday into the weekend. Appropriate charges will be filed regarding those involved in this incident. The arrest of Chidik and Gittins gave rise to a police operation in the Four Roads area in St. George, where an additional 2 illegal firearms and 11 rounds of ammunition were found. These men have now been charged with robbery with violence and firearm-related crimes and will be brought to court in due course. Also, on Friday, the 23rd of February 2024, police was called to the scene of a man lying on the side of the road in Riversally, St. Patrick's, who was later confirmed dead by a visiting doctor. The man was identified as Jude Hippolyte, 56 years, unemployed, of Riversally. Investigations into the discovery is underway, and an autopsy to determine the cause of death was ordered. In conclusion, I want to take the opportunity to thank the public for the assistance rendered to the RGPF over the last few months, weeks, and days as we continue to investigate a multitude of different issues that we are currently dealing with. I want to take the opportunity to personally thank, as Commissioner indicated, the Commissioner of Police and the members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines police force, and especially Assistant Commissioner Trevor Bailey, whom we have had direct communication with over the last few days.
All right, Calistra, we're talking about this other incident, another incident of escaped prisoner, this time at the magistrate court. What happened there?
I think a failure, although at the news conference today, the commissioner and Vanny Cowan and the assistant commissioner Vanny Cowan, they did not respond specifically to the questions that were asked on the procedures that are laid down that should have been followed when dealing with people who are being brought to court, who are being transported, who are charged with violent crime, serious crime. There's, this man who was being brought to the court in Grenville was charged with murder, killing someone and disposing of the body by burning them. That's a serious crime. That's heavy. And I believe to escape, you were not bound hand and foot. The bracelets on your wrists and connected to your legs so you can run. In fact, quite possibly not handcuffed at all, and was able to escape. Now, as far as we know, there are a set of procedures that are laid down for transporting people who are charged with serious crimes, high-profile cases, and so on, to and from the court and wherever else. And at the St. George's Magistrate Court, I see it all the time. When there's high-profile cases, the RRU, they're there in their black uniform with their long guns, keeping guard on the situation. I don't know whether we have not been able to confirm whether or not they were actually there. From the way that Mr. Cowan dodged the question, talking about exposing procedure, I don't know how that would be a breach to answer that. Would be a breach of sort of exposing a police secret to say that yes, the RRU was there or no, they were not there. And from the way he danced around the question, it leads me to believe that no, he was just being escorted the same way someone who is going to court for stealing a bag of coconut would be taken to court.
Wow.
and was able to escape, and is still at large, mind you, still at large. I don't believe they've caught him yet. So, we want to, fingers crossed that when we catch him, it's not because it's in the commission of another crime. And so, yeah, right there you see what seems to be a lack of procedure, of following procedure that's there. I mean, we're already constrained by a lot of things in national security, in the police service and law enforcement. But I don't know if securing somebody who is, obviously, I'm told the guy came from abroad, so he is obviously a flight risk. And so it does speak to some sort of breach in procedure, someone not following procedure, or somebody being too laid back that caused this to happen as well.
Are we sure? Could we confirm that the mandate in this particular instance here were not handcuffed? Do we know that for a fact? Or are we just speculating that he was not handcuffed?
No, I have not been able to confirm whether or not he was even handcuffed. Or what I know is that he pushed his way through and ran out. So it is possible that when you're brought before the court, you're not handcuffed when you're brought into the court sometimes. And so it is possible that he was being brought in or out of the court and was not handcuffed, that he was able to successfully get away, because in a small area as Grenville, trying to escape with handcuffs on might be a bit challenging. But whether you're wearing handcuffs or not, if the courthouse is surrounded by paramilitary with AK or whatever it is they have, it might be a bit more difficult to push past and run away. So you know, we can, you know, look at what we know happened and what's supposed to happen, and make a pretty good guess about what may not have happened.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't been able to confirm whether or not he was actually handcuffed at the time. In fact, Assistant Commissioner Cowan has not taken a call from me in the last several days, so I have not been able to find out from him. And you know, there are other channels and other sources that I hope will be able to confirm for me what was happening in the court on that day, because it will be interesting to find out, particularly after the way they handled the questions regarding the procedures at the Grenville Magistrate Court last Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know, Calistra, in many cases I've seen folks walk into the police to the courthouse, and they're either handcuffed in the front. They're most times not handcuffed to the back. That I know is procedures in many territories, including the US here. Do you know if handcuffing to the back is somehow not allowed? Because I think if someone handcuffed to the back, right, the hands behind the back, it would be even more difficult for them to escape than if it's to the front.
No, I think, you know, the police, they handcuff people to the back all the time, especially when they're scratching you up. You know, they arrest a guy in town. I've seen them handcuff him to the back already. But I think a practical thing where they have to sit in the vehicle.
Right.
They usually, you know, transport several people at the same time. And I don't know if you've noticed, sometimes they do a chain kind of thing. So you have two prisoners together, handcuffed together.
Yes.
This is something that I've seen at the St. George's, handcuffed with one, and but mostly in front. And I suspect it's because they have to sit in this vehicle and be transported either from the holding cell or from Richmond Hill if they're on remand.
Yeah, yeah. Calistra, we just got some video. We just got some video downloaded into our system from the folks there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on what transpired today. Let's just take a quick look. I know you're strapped for time, but I want to have me discuss this part.
Right, yeah, because they appeared in court today.
Yes, okay. Let's take a quick look at this video. You're going to hear it, Calistra. You won't be able to see it, but everyone else would be able to see it. This is video from St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police.
Good afternoon. My name is Junior Simmons. I'm a superintendent of police, and I'm the public relations officer for the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Today, I'll be making a statement on the joint regional investigation that has been launched into the disappearance of 2 US citizens. The statement reads as follows. A joint regional investigation between the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force and the Royal Grenada Police Force is ongoing into the disappearance and presumed death of 2 United States citizens, namely Ralph Hendry and his common-law wife, Kathy Brandel. The main suspects in the investigations are 3 male prisoners who escaped lawful custody on Sunday, 18 February 2024, while being held at the South St. George Police Station in Grenada on charges of rape, robbery with violence, and other serious offenses. The names of the suspects escapees are Ron Mitchell, 30 years, Trevor Robertson, 25 years, and Atiba Stanislaus, 23 years, all of Paradise St. Andrew in Grenada. The investigation thus far indicates that after the suspects or the escapees had escaped, they hijacked a yacht named Simplicity that was moored at Grand Anse Beach in Grenada and kidnapped the couple. The investigation further reveals that while sailing from Grenada, the suspects committed several criminal acts, including bodily harm to the couple. On Monday, 19 February 2024, the escapees suspects illegally entered the southwestern coast of St. Vincent and the Grenadines sometime in the afternoon and docked the yacht off Walilobo Anchorage. On Wednesday, 21st February 2024, the police received certain information concerning the escapees and the discovery of a yacht in the said area. A manhunt was immediately launched, and the SVD Coast Guard and the crime scene unit were dispatched to the location where the yacht was found. The scene was processed and found to be consistent with signs of violence. Several items were strewn on the deck and in the cabin, and a red substance that resembled blood was seen on board. There was no discovery of bodies on board the yacht. About 4:35 p.m. later the said day, the 3 suspects, escapees, were apprehended by the police in the village of Petit Bordel on the northwestern coast of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Grenadian authorities were subsequently informed about the escapees' arrest, and the team of investigators from the Royal Grenada Police Force arrived in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Thursday, 22nd February 2024, and are assisting with the investigations. The escapees' suspects have been cooperating with the investigation as well. The Regional Security System, RSS, and the Grenadian and Vincentian Coast Guards are conducting air and maritime patrols and surveillance across the borders of both islands, but no bodies have been recovered. Based on the investigation thus far, it is presumed that Ralph Hendry and Kathy Brandel are deceased. The acting Commissioner of Police in charge of crimes, Mr. Trevor Bailey, met with family members of the couple and a legal representative and updated them on the status of the investigation. The RGPF sympathizes with the family during this time of difficulty. Earlier today, Monday, 26 February 2024, the 3 suspects, escapees, appeared at the Kingston Magistrate Court on 4 counts each of immigration-related charges, which include A, enter the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines other than at a port of entry; B, enter the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines by boat and disembarked without the consent of an immigration officer; C, enter the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and knowingly and willfully allow themselves to land as prohibited immigrants; and D, being a prohibited immigrant, enter the state by boat without a passport. They pleaded guilty to the charges. They were remanded in custody for sentencing, which is scheduled for Monday, 4th March 2024. The investigation and search for the missing persons continue. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, so that was SOP Simmons. Heavy stuff there. Okay. Calistra, so the 3 men pled guilty to these 3 charges in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, immigration-related charges. From your experience, what happens next? Are they going to keep them there to fulfill the charges, or are they going to deport them back to Grenada? Based on your experience, what do you think would happen from here?
Well, it's quite likely, and what I expect to see happening within the next week or so is them being deported to Grenada. You know, there was this jurisdictional issue. Where did the crimes commit? We know some of it started in St. George's, the abduction, the stealing of the yachts and the abduction of these 2 people. They have admitted to police in St. Vincent that the couple were on the boat with them on the way up. So we know that they were abducted. So that started in Grenada, but there was a question of the boat was found, simplicity was found, according to our police commissioner and according to Assistant Commissioner Bailey in St. Vincent, was found in St. Vincent waters in their territory. So what crimes, I suppose they had to determine what crimes were committed in St. Vincent. And from what I understand, the information that those the suspects gave was that they disposed of the people just off pity money into Grenada's territorial waters where that particular crime was committed. So the conversation, I suppose, was happening between our legal affairs people and St. Vincent's legal affairs people and law enforcement to determine jurisdiction as to whether or not they the couple being missing, they're not presumed dead. So do they go with a murder charge? Do they have enough now to go with a murder charge? What charge do they bring? But I believe what happens, you're deported if you breach immigration laws. No one wants to put you in their jail and feed you and go through the cost of keeping you there because you came in illegally. You're deported, and they are due back in court, I believe, the 4th of March. And I strongly believe that at that time, the magistrate there would order them deported and that they will be sent back to Grenada. I imagine that authorities here are currently preparing whatever documentation is required to have them brought back here. As you know, Junior, our investigators are in St. Vincent, working along with investigators in St. Vincent, gathering evidence, because a lot of the evidence for the crimes against the couple is found on this boat that is currently in the custody of St. Vincent. So they're there gathering that evidence, which I suspect would end up in a court in Grenada at some point. That they will be, I hear they've got. You know what? One thing I believe, Junior, that I want to say is that I don't think they will get bail this time.
Sad.
I don't think they will get bail this time. And if they are bailed, then I see public protests. That would have to be the normal response to those guys getting bail. It would have to be. And so, but I don't think it's unlikely that should they be brought back here, should the issue of jurisdiction be settled, and it's determined that the crimes, the alleged crimes that happened within Grenada's territory, that they be brought back here and remanded to custody. And should they be found guilty, should all the procedures be followed, the evidence properly collected, the investigators and the prosecution and everybody doing their jobs properly to bring this case before a jury, that they may end up with a very, well, should it go as it should go, and they are actually guilty, because innocent until proven guilty, that it would be a heavy sentence because of the circumstances of the case.
Well, you see, the thing about it, Calistra, we spoke about it earlier on granting bail, because in this first incident that occurred where it was said that these young men, at least 2 of them, gang raped this young lady and beat her in the head, almost killed her, right? That by itself should not be a bailable offense. I mean, something needs to be fixed in the system, so then we don't have this type.
Yeah, but Junior, it depends on what is put before the magistrate, and I don't know what's put before the magistrate. Now the question, and hopefully I can have someone on the narrative, my show, coming up in the coming days to talk about that, to find out why people who were violent had the tendency to commit crimes again, because innocent until proven guilty, yes, but the fact of the matter is, here you were out on bail and then implicated in another set of crimes. It is difficult for a reasonable thinking person not to assume that you're a serial criminal, and the rape. There's the rape again, so you're looking at a serial rapist here, quite possibly. So, but with them having escaped custody, there is absolutely no magistrate who will grant them bail.
Right.
I can say this with just being a journalist and not a legal professional, that I don't see that happening. Any magistrate who grants them bail would have to be off their rockers and a few nuts shy of something to grant them bail. They're not getting out again.
Let's take some calls from our viewers. 718-701-5720, guys. Let's hear from you on all the things that we're talking about here. A lot to digest. We haven't even touched on the incident involving the guys with vanishing the guns in St. George. We're going to leave it up for another program. Let's just speak about these particular incidents, right? There's two particular escapees, two particular instances of escape. Where one in this case actually fled the jurisdiction and ended up in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and in the process of that, they're alleged to have killed someone, right? And this, again, it's difficult for a lot of people to understand because they're looking at Grenada, especially the yachting community, which was, is booming in the country, and how this is going to affect the overall tourism product of Grenada. That's another conversation for another day. So let's just have a conversation, guys. 718-701-5720. We open up the phone lines right now. I've seen a lot of people on the chat talking about it. So we're going to take your call right now. Again, the number 718-701-5720. You could call direct, or you could call via the WhatsApp. Calistra, I'm going to ask a question that I saw George Warm ask earlier today. I don't know if you got a chance to assess this whole thing, but who really dropped the ball here?
South St. George Police Station incidents, they're not, no stranger to those incidents, and I think putting all of those guys into the same cell together, a police officer who was not vigilant in watching them. When you have people in a cell, there's a time. Based on what I know of how the alarm was raised, they escaped for quite a period outside of the stipulated monitoring time, that they were able to go as far as they did and to escape. So the supervisor of that station, who men can operate that way under his watch. I asked the commissioner of police whether or not they are looking at collusion and bribery in the investigation, not just whether procedures were breached. And he said, he said that's also on the table. They're not ruling that out as well. And there are two things here: either serious negligence, Junior, or collusion. So it's not like no one was hit over the head while they were trying to escape. No one was incapacitated in order for them to escape. They walked out with seemingly no one being aware of it in the immediate period surrounding this jailbreak. So several people along the way dropped the ball. We understand, and the commissioner said, no, it's not true. But what we understand is that a cell door does not close properly, and that aided in them being able to get out. Recommendations were made, and investigation was done, because there were previous incidents of escape down there. There were previous incidents at that particular station, and recommendations were made on improving security at the police station, improving the operations of the police station. And it was difficult for us to get an answer from the commissioner today on whether or not those recommendations were implemented. He did not answer that. So we await the results of the investigation. I mean, the investigation is taking quite a while. This happened last week, and I feel like with something like this, how much do you have to dig into to find out what happened? That this is something that happened last week Sunday, and it is now 9 days hence, and not able to give an answer to the public. This is something that demands an answer, not just to Grenada, but to the world, because this is a cross-jurisdictional thing. An American family is now in pain, and our tourism industry, which we depend on so heavily, is taking a black eye. And so answers are needed. We need to appear like we're on the ball, like we're in control of things. And certainly at the news conference today, that was a little iffy. The police may be on top of things, but it is not appearing so. And what is under the surface in instances like that don't matter. The optics here are critical, absolutely important. You need to show that you're leading, that you're on top of it, and that people in Grenada can feel safe, that people coming here can feel safe. Now, Junior, before you go to your callers, though, I want to make the point that Grenada is a relatively a safe place. Of all the Caribbean islands, we are still the safest, right?
Yes.
And grand dance and the incidents that shock us sometimes. We get this jolt to the system when they happen because they're so unusual and rare for Grenada. We are still the most peaceful in the Caribbean. What is important for us to do is to take the right steps to ensure that we do not cross over, that we do not go over to the dark side where we're struggling to deal with crime like St. Lucia or Trinidad and those other countries. We're still in that spot where we can fix it. And so what I'm concerned about is what are we doing right now to fix it? I think that's the question. How hard are we pushing to fix it? Whether it's at the law enforcement end, at the socio-economic end, because a lot of crime has to do with socio-economic circumstances sometimes, and so on. What are we doing to plan for this? And this is important for the Prime Minister and Minister of National Security to say something soon, particularly and for the peace of mind of the people, that he say something as well, particularly after the news conference, which in my view did not go as well as it could have.
Right. Someone just messaged me and they said that, is it normal that 3 prisoners that is held for the same crime is held in the same lock-up facility? They don't know if that's a quite usual thing or if it's unusual. If usually sometimes they are separated in terms of they're at different police station. I don't know if you're aware of procedures where that is concerned. But let's jump to the phone call and we'll take it on the other side. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
My understanding is that in itself is unusual.
It is unusual. Caller, hold on 1 second. You say that it is unusual?
That my understanding is that also is a possible breach of procedures. I think that's what I understand.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's jump to the phone lines. Caller, live. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Canada.
Canada, go right ahead.
I want to say something that I overheard the press conference this morning.
Right.
And one thing I heard the commissioner said that the person who was in charge of the station, he is supposed to go on a vacation, but was moved from that station. And this is a problem that Grenada has, that when a problem happens at a particular police station, they just move the particular officer that incident happened with and bring him to another district or another police station. And they're not dealing with that particular officer and the particular issue. So whatever happened with that particular officer in that station can go to, let's say, St. George's. You move him from St. George's and you put him to Sauteurs, and the same problem goes to Sauteurs. But you're not dealing with the problem itself. No reprimand, no time off, no nothing. You're just moving officers around when problems happen. And this, I think, needs to address. We can continue like this.
All right. Thank you, caller. Yeah, Calistra. So the question of just moving officers around, I believe someone asked that question. What's your take on that? Should they be seriously looking into it? And the problem of police investigating their counterpart.
Police.
Yeah.
Well, my first question to the commissioner today was Monday was that have they tendered the what has happened to them? What's the status of the placement in the police force, and have they tendered the resignations yet? Because the officer in charge, he ought to have done that, and the officers who were on duty at the time, who had responsibility for the police station at that particular time when this happened, they should have done the right thing and tendered their resignation, particularly because it's not so easy. You can't just throw them out like that. You know, we have the Public Service Commission, which is very helpful, but sometimes can be very problematic for us in terms of taking action. So there's an investigation going on. And then after the investigation, I suppose there will be whatever disciplinary hearing and disciplinary action if the investigation finds and warrants that happening. But I thought that I would have expected that all of the officers involved would have been sent on some sort of leave. You move them out of the system because they're still in the system. They're still in the system where they can wheel investigation is going on. Because, you know, we don't have an internal affairs team or bureau or something like that, or an independent commission that looks into other police officers. It is police officers looking into police officers. And I remember once I made a report against a police officer at the CRD. And when the investigation was done, the police officers who stood there and witnessed the what was done, the charges that I had brought to CRD, said, no, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. And, you know, I passed one of the police officers in town from time to time. And, you know, he talks to me about Jesus. And I say, well, you know what, where was Jesus when you were lying and pretending that what I said happened didn't happen? So, and I say that to just make the point that police investigating police does not necessarily ensure a just outcome, a proper outcome, an accurate outcome. And so that in itself is a problem. But it's kind of worrying that one of the guys, the rest of them are there. And one was transferred to another police station. So if he happens to be the guy who fell asleep while this was happening, or he happens to be the guy who turned away while this was happening because he was incentivized to turn away while this is happening, has gone off to another police station, and still serving the public. And he could have been sent on leave while pending the investigation. A very serious incident happened, and they would be well within their rights. You can't throw them out of the force just like that without some sort of due process, of course. But to be removed from duty is par for the course while this investigation goes on. But that has not been done, apparently. In fact, one person who had to go on holiday, his holiday was delayed. That I do not understand. And had there been more time, I would have asked for an explanation as to why he was not, you know, sent out. I don't know, probably some procedural thing. But yeah, the handling of this as well is questionable. But they remain on duty while two people are missing, and a family is in crisis, and another three. I mean, and Junior, you know, this to go off a little bit. It's 4 families that are in crisis right now.
Yes,
because the guys who are accused, their families are also feeling pain out of this too.
Yes.
And yes, I know people want to hit them and be angry at them. No, they did a terrible thing, and they should have the full force of the law on them after a fair trial, of course. But you have mothers and sisters and brothers and fathers. I think you had a clip from the mother of one of the guys. I believe the one who's connected to the sexual assault cases. And so there are other living, breathing people behind all of this. The thing is a mess because someone in a police station in Grand Lands failed to do their job.
Yeah, so right. Got another call on the line. Caller, where are you calling us from?
Hello, good evening, Junior.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Say hi to Calistra as well.
Hi, Calistra. I love you when you smile your teeth. Anyway, one little thing that puzzles me. They said that the 3 guys are cooperating, right? And they assume that they are dead, that the 2 people are dead. However, if they're cooperating, why aren't they saying what they did with the bodies so the families of the American couple could find some sort of closure?
Well, we don't know what they said to them. They would say that they're cooperating, but we don't know what information was relayed to the authorities. It could be well that they told them everything.
So does that mean they did not? Yeah, so does that mean they didn't confess to the killings?
Well, we don't know. Again, I don't know if Calistra have any other additional information, but what I'm saying is we don't know exactly what or how they're cooperating with investigators in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We don't know if they told them that
All right,
they
it's very
dispose of. Yeah. So the jury's out on
Yeah,
that one.
Junior,
yeah.
let me just jump in here, Junior, just to say to the caller, thank you very much, and the compliments about my teeth. I got some insults about it today. But so yeah, what we do know is on the Ride Along Lives broadcast of the news conference. Well, what we do know in particular area, and what we know is that they are cooperating with the St. Vincent police. So it means that they have responded to their questions, they have spoken to them, they have given them information. And as a result, one of the measures that has been employed in seeking to investigate this was to send divers down, which is what the St. Vincent police have right now. You know, picking up stuff about what was done off Pity properly confirmed. And remember, this is also an open investigation. And given what has happened, we do not want anything to be said or done that will work in the favor of the defense in this matter. This thing needs to go to court, a fair trial happens, and it goes where it goes based on everything working. Because, you know, if those guys get away on some sort of technicality or something, we're going to be in, you know, in a year or two, we're probably going to be in the world news again, saying this time that after doing this, they've walked free. So, I mean, you know, even as journalists, we need to tread carefully on what is said on this, that we do not jeopardize the investigation.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. We got another caller on the line. Caller, live, where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from New York.
New York, go right ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, I've been following this event for the past couple of days.
Yes.
And, you know, so Calistra mentioned something just now. She said that, you know, the officers should resign and all of that. But in the history of Grenada, we understand that this is not something that is customary. You know, stuff will happen. Police have done stuff, and she has mentioned it as well. You know, there are cases where you go to them with stuff and they turn a blind eye on it. And so we have a problem because when serious incidents happen, there's no accountability. And that is something that is lacking in our society. And it's not just the police force. It's a nationwide something. We don't take responsibility as we should for things that happen which go contrary to moral standings. And it's about time that we take a page out of the world book and start implementing stuff. I think we have this notion that, you know, we have this customary thing that we're so accustomed to doing stuff a certain way that, you know, when things happen, we raise our eyebrows on it, and before you know it, it's in the back burner.
Right.
It happens continuously. We see that process happening over and over and over and over. And there are people who are just sick and tired of it. And there are people who are silent on it and they wouldn't speak because they just figure if they talked, it's the same process. It's like they'll be going on dead ends. So it doesn't even make sense. But we have to stand up. When are we going to shake up? This year, I mean, the amount of news agencies that have broadcast this event over the past couple of days is not funny. And look at this, You know, we still want to paint the picture that Grenada is a safe place. But you know how these things work. Only one bad thing that is necessary for the whole parish and the parish to look bad. And this is what is happening to us right now.
Right. All right. Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
Relative to what's happening in the world, I must say that Grenada is in fact a safe place. And one of the Yorkie made mention of that, and where he said this is like lightning strike. You know, when before have we heard of a crime? I'm not saying that it's not bad. It is horrible. For one person to lose their life is terrible, right? But as the Yachty said on the Kill and Bob program, this is like lightning strike, right? Lightning don't strike the same place twice. And this particular person had been involved in that industry for many, many years. And this is the first instant of that ever happening, like how it played out here. So relative to everything else that's happening in Grenada, it's still a very safe place, all right? Let's take this call. Caller live, where you calling? Caller, hold on. Caller live, where you calling us from?
Good night.
Yeah, good night, caller.
How are you, man?
Good, good, good.
Good night, listening public. Good night, Calistra. Junior, at the end of the day, is a very, very sad situation that occurred. And it seems like people, I'm not here to take side, first of all, but people has to take in control of some of the actions. And I'm saying this to say that people have to be mindful that when situation occurs, they intend to bash the RGPF for certain things. But we have to be mindful that and give them the credibility when it's given to them. A situation occur, and yes, there maybe was a loophole or whatever circumstances take place, it happened. But a lot of the reporters, I think sometimes the way they react is like, we all humans, right? And there times things might happen. We're not expecting it, but it happens.
Right.
And because at the end of the day, we all, sometimes we all fall short sometimes, regardless it's bribery, regardless it's a coincidence, whatever the case is. But I'm saying this to say, some of the reporters, I want to ask some of the reporters, or even Calistra, did anyone earlier make any recommendation to ask to go into the precinct to figure out how the escapee was able to escape? First of all. Secondly, when there's an investigation going on, there's only so much that the police, so much information that the police can give out because it's still an ongoing investigation. And I think a lot of the reporters fail to realize when there's an investigation going on, that bashing the police for information does not help. And that does not, yes, I know you have a job to do, but trying to bash the police for seeking information when there's an investigation going on, I think it's shameful to some of y'all. It's very shameful.
Calistra, you can respond? Give Calistra an opportunity to respond. Calistra,
yeah.
Calistra, okay, go ahead.
Who's that gentleman, Junior?
Hey?
Who is that gentleman?
Who
is the gentleman that's on your phone line there now?
So where you
mention a name?
Where you calling us from?
I'm calling from the UK.
Calling from the UK.
And why is it important? Who am I? I mean, I ask you a question. It shouldn't matter who am I. I'm asking a question.
Actually, you did not ask me a question, number one. And number two, I asked who it was because I thought I heard Junior mention you by name. I must misheard. I thought he mentioned your name, so I wanted him to repeat it. It doesn't really matter who you are, really. I just thought that he had heard. But obviously, there's not much I can say to your opinions. As a journalist and someone who is a complete advocate of free speech within everybody else's constitutional rights, of course. Your opinion, you're totally entitled to it. So, and allowed to speak out. That's just how it is. You can speak out.
Yeah, but one of my questions was, is any of the reporters asked for permission or inside information to seek where the prisoners was where they escaped from? was they asked for permission to go into the precinct to have a view of how the prisoners escape, or is there any request was made from any other reporters?
Well, we work independently, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay, but on behalf of yourself, individually, did you make any requests to go in to find out where the prisoners was escaped from? Because everybody seems to making the same claim that there's a door that the lock wasn't good, or they have problem with. But no, I never heard anybody say that they asked for permission to go into
sir,
the precinct.
in all fairness, that there was a news conference today, and sitting on that news conference was the police chief of Grenada, Don McKenzie, and one of his assistant commissioners of police, Vanny Cowan. They have the information. They have charge of the investigation. They're responsible for looking into it. I am under no obligations to say this to you, but I will, because we're having a conversation. I'm having a conversation. I'm trying to reach Vanny Cowan to make a request.
No, but you're missing the point.
He's not answering. He's not answering me. So tell you whether or not other journalists have asked to go see the cell, or whether they have gone there themselves to see and hopefully not thrown out. I do not know. I cannot answer that. I cannot say. I'm sure that if anyone goes and it will be reflected, if any of us gets to go and see that, it will be reflected in the reports that we provide to the public. Right. But today, there was a news conference today, and the people who know what happened, or who have most of the information about what happened, they were there, and they weren't saying either.
Right. All right, caller, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your input, all right? We appreciate you. Here we go. All right. Calistra, let's talk about quick recommendations, right? Because we don't only want to look at it from this perspective. Do you have any recommendation, things that could be done to prevent a next situation like that from happening? Because this is embarrassing, not only to the RGPF, it's embarrassing for Grenada, everybody.
Jailbreaks happen a lot in a lot of different places. Jailbreaks happen. It's not unusual. Other places, prisoners try to escape, fugitives from justice. People don't want to be locked up. They don't want to be incarcerated. And when it happens, depending on, sometimes it happens in these huge places, and it's not a bleep on the radar, and people are not presumed murdered by those who have escaped. So, that kind of thing. But with us there, you have a set of unique circumstances, our size, the victims involved, our dependence on the tourism industry, which is really what the crux of this, I believe, is for a lot of people. Today the commissioner was talking about, he mentioned the opposition leader in Barbados saying, well, we shouldn't talk about what's happening. We shouldn't expose it. And he was saying he actually said we should take a page out of the book of the opposition leader, which in itself was worrying. You don't want to hide crime information, because your first duty is not to protect the tourists and not to protect the tourism industry, but to protect the tax-paying citizens of the country. That is your first duty. And but then we still have that tourism is a huge chunk of our GDP. So you have that consideration there. A visitor getting killed, presumed murdered by jailbreakers is not a good picture. It's not a good image. So what do we do to stop this from happening again? Police officers, don't sleep on the job. Don't sleep on the job. That's not cool at all, Junior? Take your duties seriously, because I'm sure if there were, whatever happened, whether this was a brag or some guy sleeping on the job or on his mobile phone chatting with a girl and his back turned for 2 hours digging a coal pit with some girl on the phone and did not know what was going on. Whatever it was, a serious dereliction, breach, whatever, even if a cell door really is not functioning properly and they were able to get out that way, it means that someone did not check. I believe it's every hour. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's whatever period that they had not checked. So, and so, but we also, our real issue is to stop these things before they happen, Junior.
Right.
To stop it before it happens, so that we can continue to enjoy the credit of being the most peaceful country in this region. And so it's going to take a concerted effort of everybody. You know, it sounds cliche when we say that, but it really is mothers of the country, Junior, who we turn out, we keep complaining, mothers, and so we have the unique opportunity of making sure that the products are not defective, and then we talk about then the socio-economic circumstances. How can mothers really do their jobs effectively when they themselves are under, some of them are under a tremendous amount of pressure for money, like apart from your church. Let's all those things that we have. We we're aware, but for some reason we seem to not have been able to roll out over these last
Calistra, your audio certainly take a dip for the worse. It's we can't really hear you too clearly.
Okay.
We can't really hear you clearly. Calistra. All right, Calistra, we're not able to hear you.
Let's not, no matter what side you're on, right? Let's not rejoice about this. Give the media a chance to report the truth and report the fact. You may not like it.
Okay, Calistra, we can't hear you. We can't hear you at all. Your audio has gone really dead. Calistra, having some audio problems. Let's take this final call and then we'll wrap it up from this end. Caller, live. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Grenada. Good evening.
Hey, Grenada, go right ahead.
The only persons that knows to me exactly what happened are the three guys. And if there is an ongoing investigation, I think we should just wait and see what the outcome would be. It does not make sense that each and every one of us bashing RGPF, bashing this person. No, it's not the time for bashing.
Right.
Let us wait and see what is going to happen, because at the end of the day, it's about all of us Grenadians. And let's wait and see, because when the RGPF do something good, you hear we make a big, nice, the police catch them and, you know, we're happy. But I mean, this little thing there, it's to me, it's technical. So let's just wait, let me just wait and pray and see what the outcome, because if the outcome come out the way I want it or you want it, everybody will say, okay, kill them, ding them, is that what we want? But it's not like that. Investigation sometimes take years. Investigation could take days. It could take weeks. So let us wait and see what the outcome of the investigation. I believe in the Royal Grenada Police Force, right? Each and every one of us have a flaw. And let us wait and see. And let's see what the outcome will be like. Good night, Junior.
Thank you so much, caller. All right, Calistra, earlier today we missed your audio. And if you want to do some closing remarks here, if you're still able to hear me. Calistra, are you there?
For me?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm here, yes.
Yeah, your audio kind of went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs there for a little bit.
To hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you now. We're hearing you now.
a problem waving
your audio went
in front of my Wi-Fi signal. I have banana trees.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But Calistra, I want to thank you so much.
In closing, you know, Junior,
go ahead.
Want this? I'm going again.
Yeah, it's kind of going really quickly.
So I'm saying, you know, none of us want this.
Right.
And well, I just want to say thank you very much for having me. And let's see how all of this turns out. The media will continue to report on this. We are not going anywhere. We will do our jobs. And hopefully the police will do theirs well. And the courts will do theirs well. And we will have a favorable outcome based on the evidence and the information that's available.
Thank you so much, Calistra. Don't forget you can join Calistra on The Narrative on WPG10. Of course, all links and information will be put on there. If you don't already follow Calistra Farrier and the Narrative, you could do so. Information will be posted at the bottom. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks. We got a quick commercial break. I'll come back with some closing words. Don't move. We'll be right back.
I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily pick 3 cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play pick 3 cash flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money.
Ride Along Live is brought to you by Ride. Yeah, Ride Ebike, Excursions, and Tours. Guys, listen, you've been missing out. You've been really missing out. Guys, for the past couple of weeks, you saw the bikes all over Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. We've successfully mapped out the whole entire island on these e-bikes. We've been to every single parish. And it's amazing. Have you gotten on these e-bikes yet? Well, if not, what you waiting on? Get your groups, get your family, get your church groups, and come and join us. It's real fun, guys. Wanted to be a part of the Ride e-bike riders. This is a physical ride. I know you guys are on the ride along right now, and you are a rider, but this is physically being a part, physically being a rider. All right. So if you have not yet ride with us, we invite you and encourage you to check out our next ride. Now, our next ride is going to be Carriacou, right? Carriacou and Petit Martinique, we're coming. Yeah, we're coming, man. Click the link right there for more information, or you can call 422, that's 473-422-1011. Carriacou, we are coming. Yeah. All right, guys, so this is the information if you want to ride in Carriacou. I'll put the information up on the screen. Here you go. Right, so if you are already in Carriacou, or if you're going to find your way to Carriacou, you pay $320. And if you're a rider, you get 10% discount. So from the $320, you get an instant 10% discount. Okay, 10% discount. You get the ride, you get the breakfast, you get the lunch, and a really great time on the ride. If you're in Carriacou, or if you're going to be in Carriacou, or if you can find your way to Carriacou and you have accommodation, boom, that's for you. $320 minus your rider, you get 10% off instantly. Now, if you're going to travel with us from Grenada, right, it's $580. But get this, guys, that includes round trip ticket from Grenada. We leave on Friday in the evening and return on Monday morning. You reach in time to go back to work on Monday, all right? And it's $580 and you get your instant 10% off. You also get accommodation while in Carriacou and lunch and bike and vibe. So it's Ride Carriacou. And that's this weekend. This weekend. For more information, you could call or go into our kiosk located in the Esplanade Mall, 473-422-1011. That's 473 10%. Yeah, 10%. Call right now, guys. We have a few bikes left. 473-422-1011. Put that on the screen. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, Ride Carriacou. It's going to be truly amazing, guys. Yeah. Get a group, get a few friends. You get your breakfast, you get your lunch, you get your refreshments while in Carriacou. It's real fun. Ride Carriacou. That's this weekend, Friday to Monday, all right? Don't miss out. Call right now.
You ready for an exhilarating adventure? Then look no further than Ride Excursions and Tours. Get ready to explore the great outdoors like never before with our powerful e-bikes. Discover breathtaking sightseeing tours around the island. Feel the wind in your hair and experience nature in its purest form. Now, whether you're a seasoned rider or a beginner, our e-bikes are perfect for everyone. Call us at 473-422-1011 to book your excursion or visit ridersebikes.com. That's ridersebike.com to reserve your spot. Unleash your adventurous spirit with Ride Excursions and Tours, where every journey becomes an unforgettable adventure.
See what I was telling you guys? It's all about the ride experience in Carriacou, all right? Don't miss it, guys. Also, I got to tell you about this. If you're flying to Grenada, you got to be flying with JetBlue. Yeah, JetBlue offering some great fares from JFK to Grenada. Listen, you could leave New Grenada and have breakfast in New York and come back in the evening. Literally on JetBlue. Fly with JetBlue to Grenada. 2 flights daily. And of course, if you're in Boston, every Saturday, JetBlue's flying live and direct. Live and direct. Hey, Soul Vibes ready, big up yourself. Live and direct. From Boston. Hey, my homeboy Soul Vibes. Yeah, you're missing out on the action, boy. Missing out on the action. Missing out on the action.
Special privilege of sampling the Golden Jubilee edition of the limited edition spice rum from the Grenada distillers, and I must say it's something that you should try. It is authentically Grenadian, but from the flavors to the aromas to the overall taste, the blend is great. It's light, it's golden like the Golden Jubilee, and I think you can make any collector's shelves anywhere in the world. Hats off to the Grenada distillers.
Planning and Development Authority of Grenada, PDA, is enforcing regulations to curb illegal, disorderly, and unauthorized development in several locations throughout the state of Grenada. The authority is concerned that structures mainly associated with vending are negatively impacting the environment, has undesirable public health and sanitation consequences, present obstructions to vehicle and pedestrian traffic, can become projectiles during adverse weather conditions, and generally affect the aesthetics of the nation. The PDA will work along with stakeholder ministries and institutions to effect the demolition, removal, and disposal of structures which fall in the category of illegal and disorderly development, commencing January 2024. In this regard, persons who vend in or occupy such illegal structures are advised to secure their personal belongings and have the structures removed ahead of the planned PDA demolition operations. These actions of the PDA have become necessary to safeguard and protect public health and the environment, ensure the safety and well-being of all citizens and visitors, discourage any future disorderly construction, and encourage compliance to regulations pertaining to physical development in the state of Grenada. This is a message from the Planning and Development Authority of Grenada.
The Ministry of Tourism and Economic Development and the Grenada Tourism Authority extend a warm welcome to visitors and returning nationals visiting for Carnival and summer vacation. We do hope you enjoy your stay with us, and we invite you to return with friends and family to celebrate our 50th anniversary of independence on 7th February 2024. Tourism is my business, your business, our business.
Yeah. Guys, listen. Here's one of my thoughts on this whole scene. First, I want to express my I don't want to say condolences because they have not yet confirmed a body in the case, but my sadness on what's transpiring. We're seeing Viewfort in St. Lucia had an episode a few months ago where there was a situation where a number of people died in a matter of a weekend. Kids lost their life. We saw what happened in St. Vincent and the Grenadines a few months ago, where a number of people died on one day, probably the bloodiest day on the island. The problem is gun crime is an epidemic, right? And it's not only affecting small island region, it's not only affecting Grenada and Trinidad and St. Lucia, man, it's affecting the world. The truth and the fact is, guys, I don't think anyone would be spared from this unless serious actions taken. Like, no. There needs to be a serious collective push in order to take out or eradicate gun violence. You see, like when they had the COVID and there was this strategic alliance by the region to wipe out COVID. They had masks and whatever else they had to do. This is that kind of approach that have to be taken to wipe out this gun crime. It's an epidemic. It's an epidemic. So the governments of the region have to take strong and solid actions and not wait. It have to be done now. I thought by now we probably would have had, an emergency opening of Parliament and enact strong legislation that said if someone is found with a firearm, as of now, one firearm or a bullet or whatever, one bullet, you'll get 10, 15 years per bullet. I mean, serious action. I'm not sure if that is on the books right now, but I'm thinking that type of serious action have to be taken now by our leaders because this is an epidemic. And just like how, as I said, they change around all sorts of policies and procedures to try to eradicate COVID, that's what's happening right now. A lot of people will be hurt if serious actions are not taken. And this is straight to the region. Grenada will not be spared. And as we continue to see, Grenada is not being spared from this pandemic, from this epidemic. Serious action. And it cannot be politicized. It cannot be politicized. You can't, and that is part of the problem, Everybody looking for political points at the moment. Everybody looking and see how, this is a great opportunity for this political party or that political party. No, it cannot be seen as political because this is not only affecting Grenada. If we only we continue to politicize this problem, guys, this problem will not be off our shores anytime soon. Because every party now, every person now looking out for their own self. How is it going to positively affect them? It cannot be seen as a political fight. No political party should use that as a political campaign, right? This should be a non-partisan situation where everybody come together, put their heads together. Like when we had a beast and there was some gangs. It was nothing like this, by the way. And we had beasts and the police had some, police did what they have to do to push out this nonsense that was happening. And it was gone. So we have to probably bring back someone like Beast and some others who are known to deal with situations like this because this cannot continue to fester. And Grenada is such a beautiful place. Everybody's family. When I leave New York to go to Grenada, I meet people on the airport. They say, when you get to Grenada, tell everybody I say hi. It's that kind of place. Everybody know everybody. It is such a small community where everybody know everybody. But instead of loving each other, instead of looking at how we could build together, we are looking at turf and it's turf war. Guys, we could do better than that because we are actually and essentially damaging our own self and our own children's future when we continue to fester and continue to push this narrative, guys. And this violence, it would affect every single one of us. And I'm calling on the politician, I'm calling on the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security. Right now is the time for serious action to deal with this pandemic. I'm calling on the leader of the opposition to come together, non-partisan. Don't look for cheap political points. Just look for the betterment of Grenada and put all heads together and see how this could be eradicated. This is not an opportunity to score cheap political points. It's important. We have to do it for our future. It's important. It is important. Absolutely. Absolutely essential. Thank you for watching and thank you for being a part of our program here today, guys. On the behalf of all of our team here at Ride Along Live, our senior executive producer, Lois, JJ, and the rest of the team here at Ride Along Live, our moderators, Kibbs, Gail, everyone at Team Ride Along, we say thank you so much. Don't forget, if you have a business and you want to send your business viral, advertise on Ride Along Live, give us a call for more information how we could get your business on the ride, not only on this platform where there's over 1 million viewers per month, but also we have a strategic location inside the kiosk at the Esplanade Mall where a lot of walking traffic. You could also get your ads placed on our large screen TV there as well. So if you want to advertise, we have the Fire TV, over 45,000 subscribers there. We have over 1 million views right here on the Ride Along Live per month. We have our Instagram, we have our TikTok, we have our YouTube. Send your business viral on our multifaceted or stream your event live on Ride Along Live and reach more. Reach more right here on Ride Along Live.
Advertise with us and reach millions daily, weekly, monthly. Yeah, over 10 million per month. It pays to advertise with us. Reach more and let us send your business viral. Advertise with us and reach more.
Yeah, advertise with us and reach more. To the folks on YouTube, to the folks on Facebook, thank you so much. Don't forget, we're riding this weekend in Carriacou. Book now. In fact, guys, to the first 4 people who inbox me right here on Ride Along Live on this platform, if you inbox me on this platform, I'm going to give you a special discount for Carriacou. Whether you're in Carriacou or you plan to go to Carriacou, inbox me, just say, I'm interested in going to Carriacou and I'm going to give you a special discount. Special discount for Carriacou ride. Yeah? Gather your friends, guys. Where we going? Carriacou! Carriacou, we coming. Yeah, Carriacou, we coming. Carriacou are vibes.